Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
What do you think of ASMR, Erwin?
Huh? We were just talking about it.
No, that's what I was like.
I don't enjoy ASMR.
I don't like it either. I don't like the way
I've tried.
You try to listen to it?
Yeah, I've listened to a couple ones where it's like, it's those funny ones where, your parents are screaming in the background and you're trying to sleep.
It was like your parents are getting divorced when you're the age of 7 and you're like crying and they're shouting at each other.
I'm listening to it. I'm just like, this is so funny.
I remember the first one that was ever introduced to me was this haircut one, and they were like, put these in your ears, and like they gave me a pair of headphones, and I did. I was like, when it was done, I was like, so what was the point? And
we're just hearing like.
No, it was just like it was like, you're supposed to be getting a haircut. I'm like, but I didn't. I heard the noises. My hair looks the same as it did 30 minutes ago.
I can't. My parents are still together.
My parents love each other very much. And yours are divorced, and you showed me ASMR for the first time. And now my life is ruined.
I can't.
Dude, I can't fucking
so
stand for being when people are like chewing on shit.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so mad. Do that many people smack their lips, or do they do that on purpose?
I just find it hilarious when you watch the people who are doing the ASMR and they have like the objects close to the microphone and you can just hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember when they did that for like the Madam Web teasers? But
No.
It was to be like, it was so weird. I don't know what like corner of the internet they were trying to market to.
Okay.
But it was like, hi, I'm Dakota Johnson. And it was
I mean, it would have worked on me.
You didn't see it.
Oh.
I hated that movie. Anyway, Erwin.
Yes.
What we like to do here is we like to review
And ASMR.
movies and TV shows and trash talk ASMR. Every time I read that, I think Amazing Spider. No, it doesn't work. Like every time. But occasionally we'll get off topic, but then we'll circle back around. Think about it this way. You're getting out of a movie theater with your friends, and
Dude, I'm sorry. I can't get over my parents are getting divorced and I'm trying to sleep. ASMR.
I can't. What was the...
What about my friends?
You get out of a movie theater with them.
Okay.
You want to talk about the movie.
All right.
And unless you're us, and then we're like, we can't talk about the movie until we get to either each other.
We get to a microphone right away.
But we'll walk to HEB and be like, hey,
have you tried this?
Yeah.
And you're like, no. Okay, I want to try it.
So this movie, never mind. Anyway, everything we review also has full spoilers. And in this one in particular, it's not one of those like spoiler heavy types of movies, but there are plot elements of it that I would not dare ruin. And I would rather you be surprised by them whenever they eventually get to you in the film. So, this is Luca Guadagnino's, I don't know how many movies he's made now.
Is that how you pronounced it?
Luca Guadagnino?
Guadagnino.
Mm-hmm. What is your experience with his previous output? What do you think of his previous movies?
I think I've only seen Call Me By Your Name. Is that one? Did he do that one?
He has done, yeah.
What else has he done?
Suspiria.
Oh, I haven't. The remake one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one.
A Bigger Splash.
I have not seen that one.
Bones and All.
I have not seen that one.
Okay.
Damn. I do want to see Bones and All.
Yeah, that one's great.
I love cannibalism. I don't love it like that. I'm just saying, like, I just find it fascinating that people have the urge, and then they continue to have that urge.
The urge to eat people?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's about, but he tries to mix, like, romance with cannibalism, and then he's kind of doing the same thing here, but with tennis.
Doesn't he always have romance in his movies?
Always.
No? Okay.
Essentially always.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on
romance?
Call Me By Your Name.
Huh? Damn. I don't know. It's been so long. I love the song.
Yeah.
That was with it. I remember watching it a couple of times, and it's because the first time, of course, it's something I've never seen before in how it was, like, directed. But I think I remember after watching it, like, the second time, I loved the way the movie ended with the
Oh,
father.
right. I mean, that's
the
the scene everyone talks about. Yeah.
And so that part really gets me. And I'm like, okay, I understand what he was been trying to like say throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
And overall, I remember loving the movie and enjoying it.
I remember the first time we ever saw it, that maybe it was too languid for us. When did that come out? When we were 16 or 17?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it looked beautiful.
Yes.
I remember thinking that the performances were great, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I've seen it 2 or 3 times also.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that has really sat with me for years now that makes me want to go back to it.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I think about it a lot. Like,
Yes.
I think it's beautiful. I remember it being beautiful. I'm curious if I'll go back to it and love it.
I think it's also the settings around
Yeah,
that movie
well,
as
I
well.
want to go to Italy really bad.
Yeah, me
But have I ever done that to a peach? No. Have I,
Would I?
to a watermelon, I bet you would.
Oh, I would. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you would eat it.
Yeah. Hey, remember that one time you saw a watermelon on my bed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kept saying that you fucked it.
Yeah. And I go, no. I can't deny it.
That was maybe the worst, like,
Timing ever.
no that I've ever heard.
No, guys.
No, I would never.
I would never.
I don't love the way it feels.
Why do they say it's juicy then? It's wet all the time.
It's like, Erwin, your pants are soaking red. You're like, that's because I was eating it.
Where?
I wouldn't. What
Right,
fruit would I do that
what
to?
are your thoughts on his filmography?
Maybe a cantaloupe. No, watermelon too.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
I would put it in the oven first. I love Suspiria, the remake.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible.
Okay.
I love the original Suspiria.
Okay.
I remember when I went to go see Suspiria, the remake, I had to drive like 30 minutes to New Braunfels because I was in San Marcos at the time.
Okay.
Because it was only showing at one place. And I was like, I've heard that the third act of this movie is like insane and gross. It is,
remake
but not
or
in the remake.
Okay.
But not in the way that you'd think. And I noticed something he brings back for this movie that we'll get into. I thought the editing in it was audacious and insane, and really.
What do you mean?
Like, it has these quick cuts, but not in the sense that you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
He uses them for the sense of impact and that things are moving at a really fast rate.
Okay.
And time sort of moves by faster than it actually does in real life to really feel that intensity that these characters are going through.
Yeah.
So he does have a style, but his style sort of goes back and forth, and he is always changing what he's doing.
Okay.
In terms of the way he addresses his movies. Is one of his core themes in his movies always romance? Yes.
Okay.
Is the way he addresses it super unconventional every single time? Yes. Is the way his filmmaking style is the same way? Definitely. Because Suspiria, while it didn't have that romance angle or anything, the horror in it is really great. The impact of like the just sort of weird obsession of the characters is great too. Bones and All fits more in the Call Me By Your Name category mixed in with Suspiria because he has a fusion of horror and romance.
Okay.
While I like the Twilight movies in a way,
Yes.
Bones and All is if those movies were genuinely well done.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They're my guilty pleasures.
Yeah, because they mix in. You know who's really great in that? Mark Rylance.
He's in that?
Yeah. No, you're not gonna watch it.
Dude, I hate Mark. I only hate him just because.
The one thing.
Yeah, he took the Oscar from
Dude,
Sylvester
it
Stallone.
took years for me to like grow into Mark Rylance.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, Bridge of
Yeah.
Spies is amazing, but I watched that after he won the Oscar, and I was like, "You are not fucking Sylvester Stallone."
Ugh.
But going into this, were you looking forward to it? Did you have any expectations?
No.
What were
None
you
to
thinking
all.
about it?
Nothing. I just knew that I didn't. The way that every single trailer or ad that came out for this movie, it was literally the shot of Zendaya and Mike Faist and what was the other guy's name?
Josh O'Connor.
Josh O'Connor
Yeah.
on the bed
Yeah.
every single time.
No,
And
that's
so
like
I'm
the
like-
shot that's in everything.
Exactly. And so I'm just thinking, I'm like, I really hope it doesn't just showcase it as just like one long like sexual scene.
Yeah, because you're weird about sex scenes.
I mean, just think of it. If you're gonna have a sex scene, it better be important. That's it, and not just showcase it.
So this has been marketed really heavily as like a very like sexually themed movie, and it is. But I really don't think in the way
that people are gonna. Yes, I agree with that.
Because I think that this movie's tense as fuck.
Yes.
But like not in the way that you're really anticipating. And I think really the energy that it comes with, where these people are, instead of addressing things outspoken, it's through their movement, through the way they look at each other, through, it's sort of a core theme early on. You realize in this movie, the way the core three are they ever talking about tennis or are they talking about relationships? And I think that is the core idea of this movie, and it's the core idea that Zendaya's character addresses early on, is that she...
I have to say, Zendaya's character in this movie, not the best.
I don't think any of them are the best.
Well, I would say Mike Faist's character, I would say he's probably like the best, I would say.
I found them...
At least he admits to what he's doing
I found them all manipulative, but he's the one that's maybe the most outspoken about it.
Yeah.
And there's even a moment towards the end, everything we had say has full spoilers, by the way, because I really want to talk about the way this movie works.
Yes.
Because I didn't think that there would be a whole lot to talk about. I was super excited for this, though. Yes. I love the trailer. I love the marketing, everything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about tennis.
I know nothing about sports.
I do love sports movies, though, because they are an indicator of... They make you care about the sport because they care about the sport.
Oh, Moneyball?
Moneyball's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about math. I'm not good at it. I'm an English person. I'm
trying to think of other like sports. Oh, of course,
Creed.
like any of the boxing movies. Yeah. I see anything that's boxing related, I would watch. If anything, those type of movies always makes me want to like get into any type of like fighting style.
No, regardless. They always make you want to like do something. Yeah. I don't think I could play tennis. Yeah. I can't
play tennis. The amount of times I hear people say like my shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Every single time. I'm like,
tennis elbow's a thing.
Yeah.
And in this movie, when she dislocates her knee, or not even dislocates, I think she tears her ACL because the brace she wears. I had to wear that one.
Yeah.
I looked really familiar. I was like, I have that in my room somewhere.
Yeah.
And how big her knee was, and I was like, oh, it probably got really purple. I was like, that's a good attention to detail.
Yeah.
But the performances in this are phenomenal.
Yes.
If they're not as good as they are, then this movie doesn't work. Who was your favorite out of the core three? Or do you think that they were all like as good as each other?
For sure, they were all great.
Yeah.
I would say the one that stood out to me the most was either Zendaya or Josh O'Connor.
Really?
Yeah. I think, especially Josh O'Connor, I think he's very, how do I say, he's very straightforward on what he says he wants.
Yeah.
And how he is. And I love how he's, like what you said, like manipulative.
Yeah. Throughout
the movie and what he wants to get and where he wants to be. And just the things he's saying and how he like presents it. But with Zendaya, what I loved about her, it's just, she says so much without saying anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's like so many different implications in this movie that you're kind of like, how much of this is coordinated? How much of this is planned? Because there's even a line where he's like, you set this up, and she's like, not this part.
Yeah.
And even to an extent, though, I'm like, I still think that a whole lot of it, eventually to the point where they get to that.
Yes.
The way this movie's structured is insane. I saw a review that someone compared it to being structured like Dunkirk, and that's true, actually.
I don't remember Dunkirk as much.
Dunkirk is laid out with like the final act being interspersed throughout the entire movie.
Oh, okay.
And the way this movie works is so cool.
Yes.
Because it starts off with the final match, but you don't know why it's important yet.
Yes.
And as the movie goes on more and more, you realize that it's such a simple...
So many layers.
Yeah. It's such a simple contrast that they are... Especially at the moment whenever they're like announcing the names, and then the guy, like Josh O'Connor's character, has like a couple people there, and then the Mike Faist character has so many people there supporting him.
Yes.
And then it cuts back and they're best friends. And you're just sort of like, okay, where is this going? I think you are immediately hooked. And us talking about this, I haven't even asked you yet. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I am. loving it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, I adored this movie.
Yeah. I do have like one or two issues that I do want to talk about.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now or later?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Because
sounds good.
no, the way it's laid out is it just bounces back and forth between different time periods.
Like a tennis ball.
No, that's exactly it. There are moments where their conversations are structured as if they are in a match with each other because it'll pace back and forth.
Yes.
And it's really the language of the camera guiding you because I think the more and more tense this movie gets, I noticed the more kind of outlandish some of the camera angles get.
Yes.
Because the third act of this fucking blew my mind because it was
I
like,
love the last, what was it, like hour, I would say. It's a whole different pacing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just because like it's just how the matches were going in tennis.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I love when movies make me start caring about sports because now I'm like, okay, I want to pay attention.
No, I'm like, yeah, no, I care. And then
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
care.
all of a sudden I know every single thing about,
about
this
it just
sport.
felt like every single time it went back to the past.
Yeah.
Right? That felt like a match of what was happening and like how it kept continuing on later up to the final match that they were in. And so that was like amazing to see, and the editing in this was insane. I love the fact that it was able to jump back and forth without feeling overwhelmed or confusing.
No, I don't think I think there was just one singular moment where I was like, where are we? And it was whenever they walked into it was the sauna. And I was like, oh, he has the beard, so it's right now.
Oh, I was thinking it was like, oh, his haircut.
Yeah. And I really think, just addressing this because I got to put this out there, I think Josh O'Connor looks like the guy from Ratatouille.
Yeah, he does.
In a good way. I'm not like critiquing that. I just kept thinking that he looked like that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the standouts were... But the thing is, I've seen Zendaya in Euphoria. And
I've seen Zendaya in everything. The way they talk about Zendaya's character in this movie, it's like, it's so us.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you said yes. I knew it. I got him, boys.
Let's move on. But I think she's incredible.
Why?
In this. Because she's a great actress.
Oh.
This is one of those movies that it's early on, but I really hope is in like Oscar conversation.
I hope so too. It's well deserved.
For everything, for editing, cinematography. This movie has a really specific style.
I was thinking the last like 30 minutes, like there were so many amazing shots of when it's all slow-mo.
Oh yeah.
It was just amazing. I loved it so much.
There was one moment, there's a bunch of choices in this movie that are there to analyze.
Yes.
And one of them is whenever the frame rate of the slow motion changes to be like, and there's like a freeze frame whenever, and that I'm so annoyed that one shot was on Twitter that people were talking about. The one, so I kept seeing something before we saw this movie that was like, this shot blew my mind, and they're like, out of context it makes no sense, but in context it's like the most tense thing.
Yeah.
And it's the moment whenever he's like, you have a tick, and then later on he puts the ball inside of the racket. And
did you guess it at the end?
I figured out what it was going to be whenever they first do it. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Because I told you I have a bad habit of like thinking about that too much, and I was like, I bet anything.
Well, if you overthink about it, eventually you're gonna be right about it.
It just makes me mad that people aren't considerate about that at all. But for me, the reason why I got past it is because I didn't know just how long the camera lingers on his face and like the pacing of it, and the way the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross like pulses and pounds, because it's like a really synth heavy, it sounds like a club beat. I think the score in this is amazing, and it drops at
like with all the techno.
Yeah.
I don't know. With me, that was one thing where I felt like certain scenes it worked, but then other scenes where it felt, I guess when it was slow-mo and the techno music was happening, I felt like maybe if it wasn't there, it would have been more impactful.
Was that one of the things that you were going to bring up?
Yeah, I was going to bring up that. It was just like, because I love the score, but I just think depending on how, like when it was used, for me at least.
For me, it worked because they all have different themes, and the one with...
But it all sounded the same.
No, the one with Zendaya has like a specific word that's repeated over and over.
Oh, okay.
And then Josh O'Connor's basically anytime he like does that smile where he's like, ha ha, I got you.
Yeah.
But it's also really funny. This movie's really funny, I think. And I pretty sure I told you this beforehand. I was distracted a little bit for a second by the lady next to me because I thought she was going to talk during the movie. But
yeah.
I don't think that happened. But it's movies like this.
Bad etiquette.
I was during the trailers.
Oh.
And she was talking like about how Maxine looked good. I was like, I agree. This looks great. I'm really excited for it.
I don't know. I've seen Pearl and I've seen X.
Yeah.
I love Pearl more than X. So hopefully Maxine turns out to be better,
I love them both, and this one looks really cool because it looks
I like I like
a little bit different.
Yeah.
But this movie just has this like really, there's things that are weird about it for sure, but there's just these really tense individual moments where they're having conversations with each other.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And it's all about what's not being said instead of all of the things that are actually being addressed.
Yeah. I think that's when Zendaya's character, or at least when her acting was showcasing a lot, because a lot of times like she only spoke in terms of tennis.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think the movie, it tried to explain to you how tennis is being played out.
Yeah.
And so whenever Zendaya is talking about her relationship with both of them, you can only understand through like the terminology of tennis.
That's why there's these individual moments whenever, I think it's repeated a couple times, whenever it's like, I don't want to talk to you about tennis. It's like, then what the fuck are we talking about?
Exactly. I was like, what?
I really love this line with Josh O'Connor whenever they're talking about being a child. And he's like, of course I'm a child. I've like only played with a racket and a ball my entire life.
Yeah.
I think that like...
Oh, that line too when Zendaya was... Or when he says to Zendaya, where it's like, like, how would you feel? Or something about like him, like, once he's done, like he retires and everything. It's like, you don't love him. Like, if he's not a tennis player, then what is he to you?
It's just all these like individual things where you're like, this is true. And then you said that his character was the only one really calling everybody out.
Yes.
And
see, and that's where... and my other thing was with Mike Faist's character.
Yeah.
I wish he had a bit more screen time and just understanding how he feels about the entire thing. Because he does a lot of acting on how Zendaya acted as well.
Yeah.
Just showcasing just emotionally how he's physically feeling.
Yeah.
But not a lot of how he's like, what he's thinking about and what he's like emotionally talking about.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, I feel like that's his character's actual approach to that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of convinced that was intentional. They all have these different ways of manipulating each other.
Yeah.
It's just kind of about the ways in which they go about it.
Yeah.
And his is the most deliberately quiet.
Yes.
And I think he's the one that... This movie is another one where we were talking about a movie that had a lot of face acting.
Yes.
This one does for sure. There are so many individual close-ups.
Yes.
Where... they're like looking at each other in a certain way and you're like, what does this mean? What are they thinking about?
Yeah.
And then it'll cut back and then it'll be like, so this is actually this moment that happened a couple hours ago or the previous night or anything like that. But really the way I love that this movie escalates is it kind of lulls you in a little bit. Like it starts off and you don't really understand. Watching this again, I can't even imagine. Yeah. Like, because you're going to understand so much more about the characters. I bet anything this gets even better on repeat viewings because of the way it's structured.
I just think what they do a great job in this movie as well, where they try to bring you into this relationship that they're all having, because at the end it's a relationship between all of them. And I know that's like the main theme that they were talking about throughout this whole movie. And that's where I think it kind of downgraded for me, just because of how it's like you see everyone else, like with Mike Faist's character with Josh O'Connor, like it was strong. I love their relationship in this, and then Josh O'Connor and Zendaya together. And I just wish I got more of a connection between Zendaya and Michael Faist.
I think they're
not Michael Faist, just Mike Faist.
Mike Faist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said Josh O'Connor.
Maybe
Mike Faist.
Maybe it's because I adored this so much.
Yeah.
But I'm convinced that some of the stuff you're talking about, it's like intentional.
Yeah.
Because there's a line where they talk about how he's like, I don't think you like him. He's like, I think you hate him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you do get that feeling.
I think it's because like later on in the movie, so like whenever they talk about the past stuff, you see it.
Yeah.
Right? Great. But then later on in, I guess, like current time. Yeah. I don't see what like she's actually feeling. Of course, she's showcasing it through her actions and like how she's saying it too, but I just don't think there was enough of it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, because the third act, the way it escalates is to a point where you're just like, I think I did the meme where the guy like leans forward because it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it starts to turn into these first person shots.
Yes.
And then you like are literally the ball. And then it has this fucking insane shot where they're like underneath the court.
Yes. With both of them in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
I liked the utilization of actual camera angles to escalate the more and more it went on.
Yeah.
I felt like the more it went, the more the camera decided to move. And I think that was entirely by design.
Yeah.
That way you could sort of feel this freewheeling movement around. And at the end of the day, I think Zendaya's entire character motivation is just simply to see the best match you could possibly see.
I thought it was, well, for me, it was bringing back the feeling that she had when she played tennis.
Yeah.
Because she had so much like energy when she was able to play just to play tennis. And of course, once the accident happened, she just was quiet.
Yeah.
She was very reserved and everything. And it wasn't until the very end, whenever she screamed again.
Yeah.
Because
they repeated that.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, I've never seen anything like that. And then she repeats it again at the end. Because I love that there was this shot earlier where she's staring straight ahead because she's not engaged, but everybody else is going back and forth. But then whenever they finally start, like after he does that thing with the ball, and it really sort of pulses, and then the score is pounding and getting louder. And I just thought,
I love tennis now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever play it. I don't think I'd be any good.
I don't think I'd be good either.
I know that pickleball's a thing now, but if
pickleball,
whoever is listening to this though right now is hearing me compare pickleball to tennis and getting really mad at me because apparently they're different enough, and tennis players hate pickleball. I think
drama.
I was just listening about that apparently pickleball has taken over tennis courts, and people that love tennis are really mad about that because they're like, get out of here with your hobby. And I don't know much about it. I would never be one of those pickleball players. I know it's like a thing that people our age do. Pickleball.
Yeah.
I thought it was
no pickles.
I thought it was gonna be something else until I saw what it was, and I was like, why is it called that? What do you do? I don't want to explain because I'm going to say like tennis, but a little different. And then people are going to get mad.
Wow. Now I'm upset.
You're upset?
Yeah, because I know nothing about pickleballs or tennis.
Point match? What are the tennis terms? Make a racket about it.
My favorite part is whenever they destroyed the rackets.
Oh, yeah?
The tennis rackets, yeah.
Like, I get it.
And it's like, foul. Or when they curse, it's like foul. You're like, damn.
Why is that a foul? Strike.
You're out. You're out, bud. Touchdown.
That's it. You're out, pal. I don't think... Dude, I want to be a referee. I foul everybody.
Dude, I could not be a referee.
No, wait. I would want to be... So my nephew, Julius.
Yes.
Who I love, and he's a genius.
He's like 4.
He's 2.
Okay. He's so big.
I went to his soccer game.
Yes.
And I watched a kid try and actually ref that game. That's not possible. But he fouled the kid. It was hilarious. He was like 2.
I can't.
Like, foul for kicking the ball into the wrong goal. No. I mean, you get fouls like foul for playing in the dirt instead of actually playing the game.
Oh, man.
Are there any other flaws you have with this, or were those just the 2?
Yeah, it was just those 2.
Really?
I think mainly I would say it's probably just the music. I guess the sound of it. Just that's the only thing that kind of like took me out of it. Because at moments I was like, okay, like it works, but in other moments where I felt like maybe if it wasn't there, it would have been more impactful towards me. Yeah, I can get by with the whole Mike Faist character. I probably maybe after watching it again. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have full intentions of watching this again because I want to see how it plays on like a repeat. Yes, I agree. And I mean in theaters because I think that this movie is so well designed in every single kind of way. Does it? Wait, question. Whenever you would watch any like sports movies, is there any sport movie that made you want to go, I want to try that sport now?
So, actually, when I was younger, and we've talked about this on here before. Yes. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's not a sports movie, but
Yeah, not at all. I want to be a turtle.
you know you can't. I've tried.
Whatever makes you happy, champ.
That's like whenever I tried to make Pokemon real when I was a kid.
Dude, if I lived in a Pokemon world.
It didn't work, Erwin.
I know.
I would have. Who would I have?
Bidoofs. Daniel, why do you have Bidoofs?
Dude, I would have like 30 Bidoofs, and they'd be running around. So like, did you not even try to make a Snorlax? I'm like, what's the point? I would want a Snorlax.
Snorlax?
I love
like
the
Snorlax.
moment in the Detective Pikachu movie whenever he's like blocking the road.
Yeah,
it's
that is
hilarious.
And then like Machoke is just like,
yeah.
That's amazing.
You did that? No one knows what you just did, Erwin.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You
Well,
did
you
like a
saw it.
bodybuilder
All
pose.
that matters.
Yeah. No, it was the Karate Kid.
Yes.
I wanted to do karate.
Yeah.
And then I did do karate. And then I got my knee kicked in.
That is true.
And then I also did taekwondo. I did think about picking that up again, actually, because I miss martial arts so much now.
Yeah.
And I know I'd be fucking good at it. I was one away from black belt, actually.
Damn, how old were you?
13 or 14?
Oh.
I actually don't. Yeah.
I guess you have to like restart.
No, well, not even, because I remember explaining to them that I was like, I did karate, and they were like, well, if you did taekwondo, we could just set you back a couple.
Yeah.
And I think I would have to go back to like, how did it work? It's like brown or purple, and then red.
Okay.
Something like that.
No, I definitely want to do Muay Thai eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to do.
What was yours? I also did boxing in high school, actually, for a while.
Yeah. No, I mean, what sports movie?
Yeah.
I think it was, what was it? Warrior.
Ooh, yeah.
I love, that's another movie that
That's one of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like one of those movies I recommend to people where I'm like, okay, well, these are the top 10 movies that are like my favorite no matter what.
People usually haven't seen that movie, actually, whenever I talk to people about
Warrior, and it's just, not a lot of people have seen it or like talk about it, but that's a movie where I'm like, yeah, I want to know how to fight.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They made tennis look intense, maybe too intense for me, because I was like, I don't know how the people that play this.
Yeah, I love how much they were sweating and everything.
Oh,
It's just like the tiredness, like whenever the sounds that they were making.
Oh yeah,
when they were
I think it's on
back and forth,
purpose.
it is. But it was funny at first. I'm not gonna lie.
I heard
just hearing Mike Faist going, and I'm like, damn. But it's just like at one point you're just like, oh wow, they're like.
I wouldn't grunt like that in tennis.
I would grunt.
I would go.
I'd be like, hey guys.
Don't ASMR me.
Oh yeah,
man.
my bad.
Be like,
I'll just hear a cheese grater.
Should do something that makes no noises, dude. No, whenever people do the typing, like on the, there's one of like somebody on a laptop or something, and then they type really fucking loud. Yeah, it made me mad. They all make me mad, or like mukbangs.
Oh, mukbangs.
Chew with your mouth closed. And
I don't believe the mukbang. When people do mukbangs, only certain people, just because like, of course, when you see people do mukbangs, they have like, a full table of food, right?
Dude, mukbang
and then they
is
don't look like
porn name.
Oh well, yeah.
It sounds like it, does it not?
Yeah, I mean it has the word bang in it.
Muck.
I don't know. There's only a few people that I see where I'm like, okay, they actually ate the food. Yeah. Because others I'm like, I don't believe you ate the food.
Dude, we would fucking kill it at mukbangs.
Oh, whenever you send me things on Twitter or Instagram, it's like, you and a friend.
It's the most annoying thing in the world, because
see like,
I'm like
4 cheeseburgers.
We need real eaters in the world, Erwin. Because it's like, dude, the only hard part of that was that it was like a tweet that had 4 sodas for some reason. Yeah. And like, that's the hard part, because I'm like, why?
That's a lot of liquid.
Yeah, because they're all 44 ounces each. I'm like, I'm going to drink a gallon of soda? Actually, I used to do that all the time. You know what? Easy. But it was like 4 not McDoubles. They were Big Macs. Yeah. And quarter pounders.
Yeah, but like they were, either like that or like
and
2
then,
patties.
No, and then it's like 10 McNuggets in each of them, so it's 40. Yeah. And then 3 large fries or whatever. Dude,
I was like, this is easy.
Yeah. We could do that. Or whenever it's like, eat all these Takis. I saw someone do a video of that recently. Oh, yeah. And I was like, that's easy, too. I think the only hard part of that would be that my fingers would get so dirty.
Yeah, just wear gloves.
What do you do in mukbangs? You talk during them, right?
Yeah, you just talk about... I mean, it's like we can do a mukbang.
While doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a...
We could do that one day.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
We'll review Super Size Me.
While eating McDonald's.
Be like, do you know this guy was an alcoholic? That's why he had liver problems.
Oh man.
McDonald's, not that bad for you.
You can eat anything you want, as long as you're in their calorie range in terms of like gaining or losing weight.
Yeah. No, that's why whenever people are like,
feel good, no.
Dude, whenever people are talking about like fucking Ozempic or like whatever,
yeah.
I'm just go to the gym. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And,
Or just be aware or like mind what you're eating. That's the only thing, because people know what you can and can't eat. Like it's obvious. Like, why would you eat candy when you could just eat fruits or vegetables?
The thing about that is like obviously it's fine to eat that stuff in moderation. Yes. I sound like one of those people. It's like it's fine to eat, but it is.
Yeah.
What it's about though is keeping track of your calorie intake, like you said. Like also the materials in which stuff is made is questionable.
Also know that the moment you are paying for your food and you're complaining about your weight, you're the one paying for your food. You're paying for your weight, like no one else is.
I can't stand paying for food generally, so it's really easy for me.
I hate paying for food that I know I can't be full from.
Dude, that's why every single restaurant in like the Austin area, the fucking fiends, because it's like, here's a 4-ounce portion of steak or something.
It reminds me of, it was like a couple of weeks ago with my friends. Like we went to like, it was like a food truck.
What food truck?
It was like this Vietnamese food truck.
Dude, I had Thai food the other day. It was awesome. It was incredible.
Nice. Cool. So you interrupted my story for this.
Thanks. You just reminded me, man. I also went to a food truck.
Oh, without me?
I didn't say without me to you just now.
Oh.
Tell your story.
Okay, right? So after eating that, I was like, I want more food. This was a waste.
Every food truck ever is like that, I swear.
But it tastes great.
Yeah.
But it's just never filling. And I hate eating foods that are not filling.
That's why. Korean fried chicken. It's the best thing in the world.
Don chicken.
Don chicken and... No, BBQ chicken.
Oh, they're chicken wings. I mean, it's all chicken. What I'm talking about.
No, that's not the... BBQ chicken. Then that's the name of the place.
Yeah. But I also love Don chicken.
They're both incredible.
Yes.
Why compare the two when you can have everything you want in this life?
Yeah. You can have Zendaya.
And including the cheeseling fries.
Oh, okay.
Have you had
Interesting.
those?
Oh, what?
Have you had the cheeseling fries?
So you're saying that you can have any girl you want?
Have you had the cheeseling fries from Don Chicken?
No, I have not.
They're so good, man.
Yeah. No, I always just get the wings. That's the main thing I'm there for.
Really? Did you get the boneless or bone-in?
Bone-in.
Dude, I really like the flavors like that they put in the sauces. So I usually get boneless actually whenever we go to any of those places.
I don't know. I just think it tastes different.
I'm also convinced they give you more whenever you get the large like boneless. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah,
but I just think that it just tastes differently because sometimes like whenever I have boneless chicken, it's a bit drier to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, not these places. The sauces are so wet.
I'm not ready to to give it a chance. I'm scared.
No, okay. Off. Maybe we'll go.
Yeah.
What's your overall score for this?
We should do a mukbang now.
Bang who?
No. Oh.
Yucky.
I would say 4.5 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going all the way with this one. 5 out of 5. Yo! I thought this movie was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I was baffled by it in like all the best ways possible. Yeah. It was one of those things where I was like, I think this will be.
It was fast paced.
Yeah.
For over 2 hours, it did not feel that way.
Yeah, you even asked me how long it was. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, it is really romance centric. If you see people like talking about like how, like they describe them as like steamy movies or whatever, it is not in the way that you might think. I mean, we obviously just spoiled a bunch of it.
Yes.
But if somehow you listen through this entire thing and you still want to see it, please do. It's incredible. And it's mostly about...
But I feel like even if you do spoil this movie, it's not the same when you go watch it. Because a lot of it is said without being said. It's
about the performances in this especially. And I think that, like, I can't stand whenever people do, like, Wikipedia articles, like, instead of actually watching the movie.
Who does that?
Dude, I know a few people that do that.
Oh, wow. I don't know anybody.
That's not actual movie consumption. I know like 4 people. And every time anybody...
Call them out.
Call them out. No. And anytime anybody ever tells me that, though, I'm like, okay, well, you haven't seen it, so.
I hate when people say that they've seen something, but they've seen like a YouTube like video of them explaining about the movie.
Fucking stand that.
And I'm just like, why don't you just watch it and like form your own opinion? Because everyone has different perspectives on anything.
And it's fine to like have a different opinion than someone else on like a movie. Like you and I, as much as we agree on our show, definitely don't think the same thing of every single movie.
That is true.
And it's okay to, although like you'll lead into an argument for sure, but it's okay to like dislike something and then somebody else likes it. Like I've probably said this on here before. I don't like Home Alone, but
I love Home Alone.
a lot of people love Home Alone.
Yes.
A lot of people like the Grinch movie. I fucking
the live
hate
action
it.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched it again, I was like, this isn't as good as I remember.
It's horrible. And Jim, whenever people, I say that, they think I mean Jim Carrey's bad in it. No, he's amazing in it. He's he's the only thing in that I care about. Every time it cuts away from him, it's like, that's right. This is egregiously terrible.
I think my favorite part, though, when talking about movies with others is just hearing their opinions and their perspective. And, like, at least you have evidence to back it up on how you felt from it.
Yeah.
And not just say things where when they say, quote, unquote, watch it.
Dude,
and they just go, oh, well, I just thought it was boring. Or I thought it was okay. And I'm like, but what parts made that
you know,
way?
which, the thing I can't stand. Like, I will take, I didn't like it. I will take, I disagree with you heavily.
Yes.
Any day of the week over. I saw it. And you're like, what'd you think of it? It was good.
Or whenever they say, oh, I saw that movie, but you noticed that they were on their phone the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Or I thought it was boring, so I went on my phone. I was like, but you didn't watch it then.
Yeah, you're like, so you never fully engaged with the material given to you.
Damn, calm down, Mr. Para.
Well, I adored this. This is definitely going to be like, I already know it'll be top 5, top 10 by the end of the year.
What about Godzilla vs. Kong?
Godzilla X Kong?
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla X Kong, huh? What are they doing in that movie?
Man.
I liked it. I like that movie a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a notification from someone that saw Dakota. Oh. And he was like, I thought that movie was bad. And he was like, but I really liked the monster fights in it a lot, so I liked it. And I was just like, I don't think it was a bad movie, though. Yeah. I thought the world building in it was too good for it to be called bad. Mm-hmm. But I understand that people sometimes associate goofy with bad, and I don't think that's always the case.
Well, it's one of those things, too, where if you go in the movie expecting something and one thing only, and you don't get it, then you're like, okay, it's bad.
Oh.
Like when you go in to watch Godzilla -1, if you expect to see so much of Godzilla and, like, action.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say you will, but definitely I'm different about that. And like,
it's just because everything else around it is so much powerful than just like it's as powerful as just seeing Godzilla in the movie and the action scenes. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
No, definitely. What are we reviewing next, Erwin? I
don't know.
May's next week, right? Yeah, it is. So that means, and oh boy, we are going to be ranking every Star Wars thing for May the 4th, and hopefully the shows as well. But if not, then we'll include just the movies, and we'll go over. I still want to go over Andor though, and
we'll go over Andor.
Yeah,
I don't know about Ahsoka though.
I've kind of been trudging through Ahsoka because it's okay.
Okay.
It's so fucking slow.
Yeah. If anything, I'll try to finish Andor and then Clone Wars.
Okay. Yeah. So we can have some asides for that where we talk about Andor and Clone Wars because I've only seen like 3 seasons of it.
Okay.
I'll let you talk about it a little bit more.
Okay.
And then I can talk about Ahsoka, I guess.
Yeah.
So after that, though, we'll also have a review for a movie I know we're both very excited about. The Fall Guy comes out next week.
Really?
Yeah, it does. Are you excited about it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm so excited. Every single time
I see the trailer, I'm like, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah, we saw it in front of Spider-Man the other day. One other thing I want to mention before we wrap this up, I loved the old school editing techniques in this, in that there's some like freeze frames in this that I really like. I haven't seen a freeze frame in a while.
Yeah.
And there's one of Zendaya like walking through a hallway, and then she kind of like sort of fades into the hallway. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
But no, I just liked it a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's the small things. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you could please leave a star rating on Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or anywhere the podcasts are found.
Somewhere between.
Somewhere between what?
A film and TV
podcast. Thank you.
Thank you
so much, everybody, for listening.
Hey, you too.
We'll see you next time.